Welcome to the Summer 2025 Database Driven Development course. I'm Jim Kaufman with Rankin Technical College, and I will be your instructor for this course. I'm looking forward to guiding you through the process of building full stack data driven web applications. Basically, that's what this course is about. It uses what's called the MERN stack, which you'll learn quite a bit about throughout this course. So just wanted to kind of go through what we're going to discuss here within this welcome video. I'm just going to do a quick instructor introduction. I want to discuss how to succeed in this course, what this course is about, some specific jobs that relate to the different skills that you'll learn, the course format, about using AI in this course. That's a big thing nowadays, right? So also how attendance is determined every week, the course withdrawal and refund policy, work ethic grade, and also I'm going to reiterate again how to succeed in this course. So I started my first job. I started as a software developer, junior programmer at A.G. Edwards. A.G. Edwards was a stock brokerage company in St. Louis. It was founded like late 1800s, and so it was around quite a bit, quite a long time. It ended up eventually getting acquired by Wells Fargo. So if you're ever downtown, you ever see a Wells Fargo down there on Jefferson Street, there's a Wells Fargo building. That was originally A.G. Edwards. So that was my very first job as a junior programmer. From there, I went to some other organizations. I did work at MasterCard for a while, and also I did a significant amount of work as a contractor on several web development projects for the government. Basically, different agencies, including USDA, which is U.S. Department of Agriculture, DoD, NOAA, and NASA as well. So I've worked on many different teams and many different applications throughout my career. So that's about it. I don't want to spend too much time on that. Just kind of want to give you a quick overview. So how to succeed in this course. This is a 14 credit hour course. So a significant commitment of time is necessary to do well. This says fall here, but the summer semester is 70 days, which is 14 weeks. Now, just to let you know, this is a little bit shorter time frame than the other regular semesters. The summer is just a little bit shorter, but we will still be covering the same amount of material. So just please keep that in mind. It's a little more aggressive as far as the time schedule is concerned. To succeed in this course is a good rule of thumb to dedicate around 25 hours per week. Some students will need more time than that. Some will get their work done in less time. Okay. The important thing here is to really create a plan and schedule and stick to it. Please try to, especially this is a second year course. And so for some of you, most of you actually in this course, this is your first second year course. You already took the HTML and the CSS course, which were the first year courses. So, this one's going to be a little more, a little more difficult. The expectations are more. You're going to really need to put in some time to do well in this course. So, make sure you create a plan. Don't wait until the last day of the week to start your assignments. Try to allocate time during the week. Okay. So read the handouts and spend time looking at the documentation. So this course will not have a course book. So, there's lots of documentation for all these technologies we'll be using online. So you really need to get in the habit of looking at documentation and reading about how to use the different technologies, okay? Don't be afraid to ask for help. Here, I mentioned we have various options. I'm not sure what's going to happen as far as a tutor for this summer, and especially when you get to the second year. If the tutor that we have for the summer, if they haven't already done this course, it may not have been actually completed this course yet, so it kind of gets a little tricky with that. But I'll let you know as soon as we figure out who our tutor is going to be, and if they've have experience already in this course, then that will obviously beneficial for you. So I'll let you know more about that here in the next week or so. And most of all, don't keep at it, don't give up, keep pushing forward. That's what these courses are about. Is working hard, keep working. Make sure that you don't have those weeks where you just kind of don't do much work, and kind of really set you behind very quickly. So this course here, students will learn how to build, full stack web applications using the MERN stack, and the MERN stack stands for Mongo database. M for Mongo, E for Express, R for React, and N for Node. Okay, Mongo database. That's the database we're gonna be using. Express is a technology, a backend technology. React is a front end technology, and Node.js is a runtime environment. And obviously, we're going to go through all of these, so don't worry if you don't know what they mean. That's what this course will be all about. So the Mongo database, you'll learn how to persist and manipulate and query user data. The same with a popular database management system, which is going to be Mongo. Students will get an introduction to both relational databases and NoSQL databases to prepare them for modern high-performance web applications. Okay, don't worry if you don't understand what relational and NoSQL databases are. We will touch on that quite a bit. The final project for this course will be a bug tracker. And a bug tracker is a software application that records, organizes, and manages reported software bugs, errors, something is wrong with your application. So, manages and reports software bugs and issues throughout the life cycle of the application. So you'll have a bug tracker in the real world during your development phases. You'll have bug trackers to track all the problems of your application, right? It's inevitable that there's going to be things that don't work like they're supposed to. Either you're getting errors or the function, you're not getting the result you expect. Them are all considered software bugs, right? So you'll have software bugs during your development life, during the development cycle, but also as that application gets pushed into a production type environment, right? When it gets pushed into a production type environment, there will be users of that application that will report different problems with that application. So that a bug tracker is also used during that whole time as well. Okay. And so I just kind of wanted to also mention that several of the lab assignments that will be part of this course will also be used as part of the final project. So you will be building kind of the bug tracker throughout this course, but there'll be certain things that you'll learn as we go, and so part of that lab you'll be piecing these labs together into the final project, but you'll have to go back and make changes to each of those different labs, so to speak. So each of those pieces of code, those modules, to add certain functionality that you'll learn as we go through this course. Okay. Now during this course, what I was going to do, I'm not going to be building the bug tracker. That's what you'll be doing. I'll be showing you, what you need to do to get that bug tracker obviously built. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of do a separate project and kind of use that for most of my demonstration purposes. And so I'll be building kind of a technical interview prep quiz application. And so I'm going to use this to demonstrate the different technologies that you will need to learn to be successful in this course. But besides just doing that, so what this application I'm going to actually build, I'm hoping that this kind of helps you too. And for you who've already had me in the HTML course, we did a little bit of, I had a couple assignments where we kind of did a little bit of quiz application stuff. So what I'm kind of doing there is I'm going to expand that tremendously, but I'm going to be building that. I'll be building this application, and I'll make this available so you'll be able to log in and take different quizzes. It's not going to be you'll necessarily be graded on that, but I'm going to encourage you, strongly encourage you to spend some time using it to learn the different concepts. Okay. And obviously I won't have this done early on, so this will be kind of, be beneficial, and you can use it towards, more towards the end of the course. Just depends on how long it takes me to get that built. But besides just coding this project, this technical interview prep app, besides just coding it and going through kind of the coding type stuff, I'm also going to kind of talk about the whole kind of life cycle that happens in the in the real world when you have a job. There's requirements documents. Similar to maybe a rubric, but they're a little bit different. So you have a requirement document, and there's different people involved in the whole process. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit, right? So I'm going to kind of try to give you a little more inclusive picture of what happens in a when you're working on a software development project and you're working at an organization doing that. Okay. So here are some jobs that are specific to things in this course. So like I mentioned earlier at kind of the beginning, this MERN stack is a full stack development framework, the MERN stack, right? So full stack means you're doing the front end stuff, right? So like the HTML course that we had, that was all front end stuff. Now React is a library that's used, and the people who've already had me, we did a little bit of that towards the end of the HTML course. We did a few different React apps, so you have a little bit of introduction. We're going to kind of start all over with that. Just there's a couple people in this course that weren't in that, and so we're going to be starting from scratch. But it'll help the stuff that you've already done, the students that have already done a little bit of React stuff that we did at the end of the course. But the React stuff is front end, right? And so for front end is React. Back end is going to be your Express and your Node, right? And you're also, sometimes the back end can be considered, the database layer and the coding that's back there. It all depends on, but generally, you kind of want to break those apart as far as logically in your mind. But a full stack developer might do, and it all depends on what kind of organization or what kind of project you're working on at that organization. It may be a small project, and a small project you may be kind of doing, you and a couple other people might be doing, a couple other developers might be doing the whole project, and so you'll be doing end-to-end development, right? Full stack, the whole thing. Whereas some projects and companies are might be a lot larger of a project, and so you're going to have some specialists. You'll have specialists on the database side, on the Mongo database side, or you have specialists on the front end React, right? And then you could have also back end developers. So it all depends on multiple factors. It depends on the company you're working for, the size of the project, and also the philosophy. Some companies like to have specialists in areas, and some like to have more generalists that hiring developers that can do anything, can work on all of the different layers of the application. Right? So here's like I said, some examples of some jobs. Full stack developer. If you ever hear full stack developer, and then a full stack developer isn't always a MERN stack, right? The MERN stack is just one specific stack. There's other stacks with other sets of technologies, but the MERN stack is a very popular uh, development stack that there's a lot of jobs in the area for MERN stack developers. Okay, so but a full stack developer, you're pretty much doing everything. You're writing the HTML, the CSS, the React code. You're working on some of the back end stuff, which is routes to different code, connecting it to the database, doing some processing. A lot can happen on the back end. And then you also have the database aspect of things where you got the MongoDB, you're, inserting, you might be maintaining that database, writing new queries, all kinds of things like that. And you'll learn all of those things within this course. Okay. As far as the online course format, so every week I'll hold live sessions. For sure on Monday and Tuesday. There may be some other times I'll have some live sessions as well, but mostly they'll be on Monday and Tuesday. And obviously, because everybody in this course has already been through the whole first year courses, and so you know that a lot of the work within our program, within this Rankin program, the application web development program, is lab work. So you'll have a lot of your time will be writing your code, doing your labs, right? So, but for the most part, Monday and Tuesday, in the mornings, I'll have some live lectures. And all of these live lectures, some things need to be kind of updated here. Obviously, I kind of did update this. I used this but we won't have book chapters like I mentioned. But I'll have live lectures on. Really, I'm going to be spending a lot of time going through the application that I'm going to be building that I was just discussing. And so I'll be showing you how to implement all the technologies with that. So besides the lab days and that, I may also have some other recorded videos in some specific areas or some specific assignments as well. But everything that I do, will be recorded and will be available in the YouTube playlist for this course. Let's see. So, like I said, for the course textbook, there's no textbook for this course. The assignments will be in the forms of hands-on test, tutorials, labs, and a final project. I did remove the written test. Kind of one of the reasons I kind of removed the written test after having discussion with the other instructors in this program. A lot of people weren't necessarily really learning a lot from those because basically they're using AI to get their answers. So we're kind of wanted to kind of scale back on that. And what I'm hoping, and this is going to be on you because your career is always on you. All right, it's we can do what we can do to help you move you in the right direction as far as getting started with a career in this field. But it's really all on you. And so, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and be creating that quiz application. So I'm hoping that you're going to kind of use that as a tool to learn all those kind of questions that you would learn typically from like written test. Okay, so that'll kind of replace that a little bit, and that's on you, right? That's going to be on you to spend the time to learn some of that. Also additional resources. I'll give you links to other reading materials, study guides, websites, and some handouts as well may be provided. And as far as additional assistance, if you need any assistance, I'm always available to help. So please reach out. Obviously, you know the policy kind of on hands-on test. You're kind of on your own on that as far as coding is concerned. If you need some assistance on labs, up until we start really working on that final project, I can help you with the labs. So please don't hesitate to reach out. So I did want to talk about AI. AI is a very important tool in software development and in almost all industries now. As it works its way through all the different fields out there. So, I encourage you actually to use AI. I'm not against AI. And like sometimes I say certain things. I just don't want you using AI as a tool to get your work done without really learning anything. Okay, and not saying that you can't do that, but when I say you're really hurting yourself, you are really hurting yourself. Okay, so we want to embrace AI as a tool. So you are encouraged to use tools like GitHub Copilot to assist you in learning and the development process. Academic integrity is the key. Do not use AI solely to complete assignments for a grade without genuine understanding. So this hinders your learning and is a form of academic dishonesty. You need to own your code. Never submit code that you do not understand how it works. Be prepared to explain your solutions. To me as an instructor, to potential employers, you need to be able to explain that. You can't have all this code out there, and you've got links to it, and you're at some employer, and they say, "Well, explain to me what this code does," and you can't explain it. That's not going to be good, right? So please be advised. Understand that potential employers know that many students rely on AI tools. And a lot of them are using it solely just to pass classes and to get through degrees. And expect them to test for foundational knowledge early on, and they're going to eliminate those who have not built a true understanding. So, if you may be able to use AI to get through courses, to get through degrees, and like I said, I encourage you to use it. But look, you have to take responsibility for yourself and look how you're using it and see how it's going to benefit and hurt you, right? And if you get done with the course and there's a whole bunch of concepts that you have no idea about, that's going to hurt you, because you will get eliminated out of the pool of prospective clients, prospective future employees that they would potentially hire. Okay, as far as attendance is concerned, so online courses run from Monday at midnight till Sunday 11:59 p.m. So attendance is recorded every Monday morning for the previous week. So you need to make sure that you have some work completed before that midnight deadline, or 11:59. And if you don't, you're going to be marked as absent. And if you have, you can have up to 2 absences. The third one, you will be removed from the course. Okay. So if you exceed 2 absences, the registrar's office will automatically withdraw you. All of you know this. Just kind of need to touch upon this anyhow. I'm kind of required to do so. So students must actively participate at least once a week to be counted present in the online course for that week. To satisfy weekly attendance requirements online students must complete one of the following actions. Well, here we don't have written tasks. So basically, you need to submit you need to submit one of your assignments. You're going to have to submit. There's going to be labs, and there'll be tutorials and that. But you need to make sure that you submit one of your assignments every single week. And if there's a time where you get started on something, even if you don't get it completed, make sure you submit it. Try to submit things early in the week, even if you don't get it complete, even if it's not complete, at least you have something in there. Please, for your own sake, don't get yourself in a situation where it's Sunday night and you're panicking to get something in just to get attendance for the week. So as far as the withdrawal and refund policy, you must drop the class before the semester starts to avoid responsibility for payment. A 100% credit will be issued through the end of the day before class begins. Beginning with the first day of class, any student who withdraws from the college will receive a credit of institutional charges according to the following schedule. Withdrawal from the college during the first week of the semester is 90% credit. Withdrawal from the college during the second week of the semester is 60% credit. After the end of the second week of the semester, there will be no refund of institutional charges due to withdrawal from the college. The student may forfeit any Rankin-funded scholarship that may have been awarded while enrolled in their major. The student may also become eligible to receive a tuition credit that was previously awarded. Eligibility for tuition credits and or Rankin-funded scholarships will be determined by the business office or financial aid office. So if you have any questions about any of this, please look at the student handbook or contact the business office or the financial aid office. So I do want to talk about work ethic grade. And I know, with the online course, there's, not as much of it's not as relevant, obviously, as it is with an in-person class where you have to wear the correct clothing. There's a lot more interaction with the instructors and other students than there is in the online format. But there's still things that are still very important. Such as just making sure that you treat everybody with respect. Anybody who you deal with at Rankin, being it a student, an instructor, administration, anyone else, just make sure that you're polite, that you just treat everybody with respect and kindness, right? Now, some other areas that are also could affect your grade as far as the work ethic is academic dishonesty, not doing your own work, attendance, missing a lot of work, just poor performance, not doing a very good job on your work. And for the most part, you're just going to get really meet expectations. So, if even though you might be an A student, you're not necessarily going to exceed expectations. There's a lot that goes into exceeding expectations as far as from a work ethic. Most of the time, most people are always going to follow through on the meets expectations. So just to let you know that. So as far as some areas where may need improvement, is be it attendance or just not really doing your work at all and things like that. That will affect your work ethic grade as far as from an online classes perspective. All right. Okay, just kind of wanted to go over this slide again, how to succeed in this course. So this course is a 14 credit hour course. A significant time commitment is necessary to do well. The summer semester of this course is 70 days, 14 weeks. Like I said earlier, it's a little more concise, a little more condensed than it would be in the fall and spring. Fall and spring is going to be 80 days and 16 weeks, so this is a little more condensed. And we're still kind of expected to get through the material anyway. So keep that in mind. So it's a good rule of thumb. Try to dedicate about 25 hours per week. Some students will need more time than that. Others, will get their work done in less time. So make sure you create a plan and a schedule. And especially for this course, there's, when we did the HTML and CS and the C# course and the HTML, the Web Technologies course, we had a lot a lot of assignments every week. In this course, there's going to be less assignments throughout the course. They're going to be worth more, and we'll discuss that, on the first day a little bit more. But so, you want to probably make sure you don't get yourself in a situation where it's, maybe something happens on a, if you push things off to the end of the week, and then all of a sudden Sunday happens, and some kind of emergency happens on a Sunday, and then you don't get your work submitted. The way it kind of works for these online courses, there's really not any excused absences where you say, well, something happened on Sunday, and I was unable to get my work done. Well, you were supposed to be kind of working all week long, right? So you need to make sure, obviously, if some kind of a thing happened that, it's affecting you from the whole week, please reach out to me on that. But besides that, you just need to make sure that you get your work done. Get something submitted every week, right? So make sure you create a plan and stick with it. Spend some time reading the documentation links that I'll be sending you. It'll give you a good foundation, and it'll help you with both your assignments and with a career in this industry. So spend even though this course don't have a designated book, make sure that you spend a little time reading. I know it's not the most fun for many of us. I'm not a big fan. I like to read short things more than long course books and things like that. But find something that works best for you. You don't necessarily have to spend hours reading at one time. Just read little chunks of things. Read little things, parts of functionality and stuff like that. Okay. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And most of all, don't give up. Keep at it. You can do this. So all of you have done well to get to this point. So don't give up now and keep pushing forward. And it's all really about, dedicating yourself and making sure that you do a little bit of work as many days during the week as you can. So that's all I have, and I will talk to you. We'll talk more on that very first day, and that will be on Tuesday, May 13th. See you then. Have a good one.